Welcome to Saturn Stories. I just jumped off of Jupiter sessions. It was fun. I invite you to check that out. Side of my hair is doing that. I'm just one of those people that's raw and real, so that's what you're going to get with me. But again, it was super fun. We went big and out, as did my hair, clearly. So I invite you to check that out if called. And please like and comment if you do. That said, I am so stoked. I am like holy stoked on some of the energies that are coming through today. And so I'm just going to do like what I'm known for, and people like love it or leave it. So if you don't love it, all good. I like invite you to always take what resonates and leave. But if it calls to you, thank you for being here. So I am a near-death experiencer, an author, a healer, teacher, a poet, and a mother. And I'm going to just be so transparent with you. Part of why these storytelling sessions are named Saturn is because I am in a conscious co-creation of reauthoring my relationship with Saturn. So Saturn as an archetype is Father Time. And he's also the great disciplinarian. He's that part in your mind that's like, yeah, I don't know about now. This might not work. Or, oh, you really want that? You called in big dreams, big faith, which is Jupiter, by the way. And how are you going to do it? Show me how you can do it. Like, put some hard and holy work down onto the ground and show me. Okay. And if you're here live, feel free to say hi in the chat. I absolutely welcome it, but I'm going to keep on channeling. That said, so Saturn has had this like wild role in my life. And if you're like me and you've been around for a minute, I'm in my early 40s. So if you're like me and you've been around, Saturn's been around kind of in the sky in a major way for the last 20 so years. And I can tell you, as those of you that have witnessed my growth and my near-death experience, that Saturn has played a huge and often crushing role in my development. And so I've decided, and I had this beautiful conversation with a friend that really inspired much of this, to really shift my relationship with Father Time. In addition to be the keeper of time and the disciplinarian, Saturn is also the great alchemist. And what I love about the archetype of Saturn is that he also works deeply, so deeply with the divine feminine. There's some of the patriarchal archetypes in astrology and in psychology, and they both conjoin when we're talking about Saturn and some of these archetypes in depth. Whether you believe in astrology or you believe in psychology, they share this root understanding of these particular archetypes. And so Saturn has this deep reverence for all expressions of the divine feminine, which is super, super, super exciting. So months ago, after writing, let's be honest, Brooke, at least 2.5 solid drafts, many of which had been pursued by mainstream publishers for years since I began doing documentaries in near-death experiences, TV shows, many podcasts, which is how many of you found me. I had been pursued, and they wanted my near-death experience, and they wanted it sensationalized, and they wanted it their way. And, you know, I'm a single mom, and it was going to put food on the table for my children. But I'm also a creative. I've also spent a long time in academia and had that debt to pay off. In addition to the fact I left academia following my near-death experience, and I took a big, bold choice. I chose to create a global practice for near-death experiencers when absolutely nobody was taking clinical skills and doing that with said population. And I'm also a near-death experiencer myself, so I knew I was putting my name and my reputation potentially on the line. I took that risk, and I did it without advertising. I did it without $1 to my name, and it worked out beautifully. So when the book started feeling like force, when it started feeling like the patriarchy, like academia, and it was limiting my authenticity, it was limiting my voice, I simultaneously experienced an accident. If you want to know more about that, you can check out the brief video that shares the book's name, The Beauty in the Broken Glass, which is here on my page. There's a channel about that. I'm not going to go into that today, as it's super engaged and discussed throughout the book. What I want to talk about more is divine timing and trusting divine timing. I'm going to be raw and real and honest with you about things that most people would not dare be raw and real and honest about. When I opted to channel this book, I had read countless near-death books. My friends, my best friends, are some of the most well-known near-death experiencers in the world, and I love them. I absolutely adore them. Some of them wrote their books decades ago, as we're different in our physical age. Some of them did it more recently. They all had different stories. And I knew that though I loved them so much, I didn't feel, with the exception of one, that the integration journey was adequately expressed. And a lot of times that comes from the fact that they were well known, or that they had to, again, put bread on the table, or it was a different time. I mean, let's be real. It was a different time when a lot of them put their stories out there. So I decided if I was going to do it, it was going to be conjunct with the collective really beginning to awaken. And beloveds, I had to wait. I had to wait a really long time for that to actually begin to happen. Near-death experience videos started going viral around 2020 when the pandemic hit. But that was kind of like a precursor, in a way, to the energies that are expressing themselves now. So a couple months ago, I decided to consciously channel it raw and authentically, poetically, not editing the transmissions that are coming through, allowing them to be in their Shakti, in their divine feminine power. Okay, guys, as a former academic, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. Many of you know that I have multiple degrees. I trained in Palo Alto. Like, I have really great academic training. And let's just say, I fought it. I fought it. That was part of how Saturn presented to me. It was this fight against the system that had indoctrinated me, the patriarchal scientific system. And as I've described many and many times, I love science. I am still, in a way, a child of science. However, I don't like what science has become. To me, as someone that was harmed and hurt by religion, science now behaves much like religion. It's dogmatic. It pushes principles that it has proven, but it belittles and it shames and it takes away the voice or the opportunity to be heard for those that want to push beyond its current limitations. Much of that comes from research. Much of that comes from big pharma, but I consciously walked away. In 2013, I was like, this isn't for me. I spent 13 years earning my white coat and my credentials, but I walked away. That was scary. What I'm doing now is equally scary. So I channeled this book and I decided I'm just going to listen to Jupiter. Jupiter is all about faith. Jupiter is all about trusting the divine. And Saturn is the archetype of divine timing. So it is my faith, it is my gut, it is the guidance I have received from my Palladian star mothers and from my angelics and from my deep ancestors that tells me that when you birth something from love, when you birth something from boldness, when you birth something with absolute faith, it will be held. Now, my soul totally believes that. Like, my soul is like here for it. That's how I built my practice. My mind, beloveds, my mind is struggling. My mind is struggling. My mind still has that heavy Saturn, like, okay, but like the kids got to eat, kind of vibe to it. And so I've decided to trust both of them, to allow Saturn, this divine timing, this sacred father energy, and Jupiter, which to me has this beautiful sacred mother energy, to really hold me in a field of sacred union. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. And that's the hardest part about giving your trust to the divine. You don't know. You don't know what the outcomes are. I could choose the path that has been offered to me, which is to go down a profound marketing campaign, finance a lot of things, and trust that just by doing it the algorithm way and the paid way and the masculine way, that people will receive the book. I'm not doing it that way. I have chosen to do it the way I built my practice. I am choosing to show up and simply beam, spread love, and tell the hard and holy truth. And that as I do that, the people that resonate with that message, they are going to be the best people to read my book and to birth my book into this world. Because, beloveds, while the first 40,000 words were, let's again be really real, excruciating for me to write, I had to go into like the darkest corners of my trauma. And for those of you that don't know me, trigger warning to what I'm about to say, yet I am a sexual violence, rape survivor. I am also a domestic violence survivor and thriver. And so for me to go into those stories with the transparency, the realness, the rawness, the accountability, and the honesty that I wanted to go into, I had to take time off from work. It was the only way to do it. I had to stop seeing clients all the time because I specialize in trauma, which means I sat in the field of trauma day in and day out. And then I was going into my own activations. That, beloveds, to me is a recipe for disaster. That's why we see so many wounded healers walking this earth. So I consciously chose to move all my clients into the weekends when I could be fully present with them, and to give the time my children are in school, which is not a lot of time, guys. It's like 9 to 2, that I could be present with the book. And that did not mean consciously channeling that entire time. I had to prepare my field for the activations I was walking into. I had to create rituals to hold space for the trauma that was coming up. I had to create ways to ground that trauma when it became activated and to clear it so that when I picked my children up from school at 2:30 to 3, I was in my highest and best, not my lowest and worst. And then I got up every single day and did that again. It was not easy work, and yet it revolutionized my life. It transformed it. There are so many healing opportunities and radical, miraculous healing. Those of you guys that know my NDE, I've had spontaneous remission from liver, lung, kidney failure, a 1% chance at survival. And I've spontaneously found remission through angelic healing and was able to serve and fully be in my radiance. I had 2 kids when they told me I would never, ever have children. I'm walking and talking when they told me I didn't have a decade left in me at 29. So I know all about miracles, man. But I also know that when we're not in resonance to the miracle field, which is available to each and every one of us, if we stay in the co-creation field, in the field of the infinite. However, we don't stay in that field, and beloveds, it's so hard to stay in that field with this world and like the way we're programmed and the toxicities and our limiting beliefs and our families. It can be really, really, really hard to stay in that field. So the beauty in the broken glass is really 40,000 words in the beginning of my personal trauma. But the next 30,000 are for you. Oh, I love the last 30,000 of this book so much because this is when my guides, which include but are not limited to the Sophia Christos family, Magdalene, Yeshua, Mother Mary, my Palladian star mothers, all my star families from different planetary systems, my beloved deep ancestors, the wisdom of my epigenetics, because beloveds, those first 40,000 words, I'm talking a lot about trauma that's not solely mine. I'm talking about the multidimensional. And if you are alive and humaning with me here and now, you have that too, dear one. And so a lot of that was an activation for the trauma. In the second half of the book, it is an activation for the highest and best, and it is not solely for me. It is for you. It is for you. It is for you. It is for you. I waited 15 years after coma to be able to share so much of this medicine with you. And now the collective is awakening. Now the star systems are in alignment for a radical evolution in human consciousness. And it has been my exemplary honor to trust both the energies of Jupiter and Saturn to begin to share this wisdom with you. In the second 30,000 words of the book, you are going to find so much direct guidance as to how you can navigate these holy and hard waters of awakening. As I say in the teaser to the book, I spent 15 years dying from not dying. I take that very, very, very seriously. I lost multiple friends to suicide during that period, many of which were near-death experiencers. Some were simply highly sensitives that could not deal with the frequencies here on Earth. Every time I thought I was going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the underworld and that I was going to get lost, I was blessed because my higher self, my soul, refused to give up. Each and every time I prayed for guidance, I prayed for something to align or to redirect me, it arrived. Even when I fell in December and cracked my front teeth out, as you will hear in that other video. Even then, beloveds, even then. In fact, it was then, as I stared at my own reflection in the broken glass, that I began to understand the beauty of our multidimensional souls and what I was here and am here to do, which is be a radical truth teller, which is someone that can stand in their embodied femininity, the good, the bad, the ugly, and has learned to love it all, free of judgment, free of shame. And that's what I'm inviting you to begin to soften into. We all have this inner Saturn. We have this part of us that wants to tell us we are not enough. We are not good. We are too broken. We are too ugly. We are too wounded. We're too wounded to thrive. And for some of us, and I can speak this truthfully and honestly as a complex trauma survivor, for some of us, that narrative began almost automatically when we arrived here. And the longer that narrative has gone, the harder it becomes to hear Jupiter, to hear the great benefactor, the great, expander within us. Because remember, beloveds, these are simply archetypes. They are archetypes that are part of our multidimensional psychology. And I can tell you, as someone that was trained in clinical psychology, the traditional sciences are not yet where I'm going. I'm inviting you to look at this from a transpersonal perspective, looking beyond the mind, beyond even the known, into the infinite, into the cosmic, into the place where creation begins. The creation of our universe, perhaps from our perspective, is one of the greatest creative acts that ever occurred. Every single day you wake up is a creative act. Every single thing you choose to engage with is a creative act. Everything you give your power to is a creative act. Every story you tell yourself is a creative act. I am choosing to believe that humanity is waking up right now. Why? Because I'm witnessing it, beloveds. I'm witnessing it. And often creation begins with destruction. Old paradigms have to die. I talk about this a lot in the book because, again, I was trained as a scientist. I woke up with near-death after effects that defied everything I had been taught. They were after effects that I myself would have pathologized. I would have labeled them. I would have stigmatized them. At best, I might have called them schizoaffective. At worst, I might have called them schizophrenic. I was seeing color. I was seeing the energy field. I was knowing things that were beyond the rational mind. And that defied my training. And for many years, that caused me to go into a very, very vile pattern of self-destruction and self-violence because I couldn't hold space for it. I was just deeply wounded, deeply activated, and deeply shamed. And I took the violence that had been, put upon me and put it upon myself. And I'm witnessing people not able to sustain these energies now, choosing to do the same, whether they're numbing out with drugs or alcohol, whether they're escaping through TV or pornography or AI, which is a major thing right now. If they're escaping in any of those ways, they're not being present with the destruction. And when you're not present with the destruction, my story and this book will tell you all the ways it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and the more violent it comes out. My greatest desire in sharing the worst and hardest parts of my life and really, really putting my ego to the test. Because I'll be honest, guys, as I started channeling this, I did not like what was coming out. I didn't like it at all. My ego wanted to burn it. My ego was like, this is why the other drafts are better. Like, go with those. And I was like, no, this is real. This is honest. People relate to truth. People are hungry for truth. In a world of AI and a world of lies where we are told to filter ourselves, to make ourselves look younger, to make ourselves more compliant, to, cross our I's and dot our T's, this world is hungry for soul. I'm inviting you to liberate yours with me in the next coming weeks. Each and every Saturn story, henceforward, I'm going to drop in and I'm going to deliver you a portion of a story that I share in the book, but I'm going to go deeper and grittier and go with the raw energetics of the day, picking up on whatever the collective field has to offer. And beloveds, the field is lit right now with all the things that are coming out. Like it's crazy. I mean, truthfully, when I started channeling the book, there were things about like sexual predatory nature in humanity that I knew as a multidimensional, as someone that works with the Pleiadians, that works very deeply with other star families. I knew a lot that I kept mum. Mostly because, again, people pathologize you, they stigmatize you, they call you crazy, yada, 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 yada. It wasn't stuff I wanted to put out publicly. But as I watched the horrors of Epstein, the reaction of the public, the righteous rage, the grief, the also wanting solutions, I began to realize that it was safe for me to begin to say some of these things. It wasn't only safe, it was absolutely necessary. I'm not concerned about being shadow banned. I'm not here for the masses. I'm here for those of you that are willing to confront the darkest parts of our being, because the shadows that are within you are within me. They're within all of us. If we want to understand the vile nature of some of these sexual predators, we have to begin to look at the vile parts of ourselves that we turn a blind eye to, or the stories we will not tell because we do not want judgment. It's that energy that feeds all of this. It's the lack of accountability that this darkness has been implanted into humanity and has been allowed to grow. And by turning your eyes, turning your loving hearts away from it, you allow it to grow. I'm asking you to begin to look at your broken pieces, at your broken glass, because beloveds, if you can look at it without judging it, if you can look at it without shaming it, if you can look at it as simply something desperate to be loved, desperate to be seen, desperate to be witnessed, I can tell you, because I have done it, you will begin to transform your relationship with the entirety of your being. You will not need to seek transcendence. You will become transcendence. You will bring the infinite into your field. You will begin to understand how the divine loves us unconditionally because you are practicing it, beloveds. You are practicing it. You are practicing it. And then, and only then, when you see the horrors of humanity that are unfolding right now, you can and will respond with compassion. I was at the door the other day, like yesterday, with my children, and there was a FedEx guy, and I could just see his field before I got up there. I was like a half a block away, and I was witnessing his auric field, and I was like, whoa, this guy's like really stressed. What's going on? Well, I didn't realize he was at my building at first. And then when I got up there, he's at the front of my building and I'm like, excuse me, may I be of service? And he's really dysregulated. And he's like, and I go, are you trying to get to yada, yada unit? I just had an intuition and I spoke it because these days I just do that when I feel it serves. And he said, yes. And I said, well, I believe I may have witnessed her be taken by the paramedics the other day. And I am her immediate neighbor. I live in this unit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is it okay if I take the package? And he looked at me and he said, well, I need a signature. And I said, I believe she might be in the hospital. I don't know. I have no confirmation of this. I'm going by intuition and what I witnessed. And he's like, actually, that's exactly what she just told me on the phone. But then she hung up. And I said, well, do you have her number? Maybe you could call her back and I'll speak with her. So he does that and he hands me the phone and I reintroduce myself as this person is struggling from Alzheimer's, which I have a deep compassion for, as my own grandmother had that, which you'll read about perhaps in the book. And so I remind her who I am, and I just say, I believe this gentleman has a package that might have medicine for you. And if you're open to it, I would just love to hold space for it and sign for you. And she didn't remember me, but then I'm like, I'm the one with the big Buddha by the door. Her cat loves my Buddha. So she remembered that like immediately, as we've been neighbors for a long time. So I was like, anytime you need, like, I've got your medicine, like, and I'm like, are you in the hospital? And she's like, yes, I am. And I was like, okay, well, I can take your medicine. I will happily sign for it. And then I'll hold space for it. And whenever someone can come by, you come and get it. And so the FedEx guy like gives me a hug after I signed for it, because he was having a really bad day and he was totally transparent about that. And he said, thank you so much for like just the way you're being and like how, kind you are. And I was like, no, it's just like, we're human and we're being good humans. Like that's what we do, right? Like that's how we live love into this world. And he thanked me and told me he wished everyone was that way. And, like as my sons asked me questions about it as we walked away, I had to remind myself that unfortunately some of humanity or much of humanity isn't like that here and now. And, I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to judge their own heart and holy journeys. My invitation to you is that when you begin to look at these places within yourself, when you begin to love the unlovable, when you begin to love yourself with 2 front teeth missing, which I literally did in December and January, as I waited to have the veneers put in and the surgeries, you develop like, a capacity to sit in the seat or with the seat, not in the seat, but with the seat, as a conscious co-creator with the divine. You begin to see how no matter what we do or how broken we may be or what we look like or how we feel or, how alone we might imagine we are, that there is this beautiful mother, father, God, this perfect union of all of creation, all energy that holds us. But we have to allow ourselves to be held, beloveds. We have to allow ourselves to be held. And that's what I'm redefining and reorienting with Saturn. I am allowing divine timing to hold me. It's dangerous to the logical mind. I don't know when people will receive the book. I don't know if it's going to take months or years. I have no idea. It could take a decade. I don't know. And that knowing is part of the growth opportunity, because it's saying to the divine, I'm here. All of me is present. I am serving. I am giving you my heart. I am giving you my whole. I am giving you my trust. And I'm scared. And I don't know necessarily how to do this, but I want to trust. So teach me to trust. For someone with my complex trauma history of decades of sexual abuse, rape, and domestic violence, it is very, 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 very hard to trust. For me to show up and be this real and transparent with you, that is an act of trust. It is an act of trust. It is an act of courage. My soul is so here for it. And my ego, I'm bringing it along for the ride. Just like I did when I began sharing my NDE and had no idea if that would land with people. But my NDE taught me that people really want the truth, and they want the cosmic, and they want to remember, and they want to be held. So beloveds, I'm asking you to co-create a field of holding. If you're witnessing these videos, please drop some love, drop some comments, drop some likes, drop anything you've got, because for me, that's an energy exchange. In the coming weeks, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. Some of the people that are going to come through to talk to you guys, if you're holding space, if you're feeling aligned with any or all of this, I have my soul brother. Many of you know how connected I am to Reverend Peter Panagore. He is my brother, and we have been friends since we were dropped together randomly in near-death talks about 7 years ago. The first time we met, he thought I didn't speak. It's a really cute story. That said, he is my soul brother. He is writing the foreword to my book this month, and I'm just so excited. He's going to drop in the weekend of the release, and he's going to speak to you guys live. I have my friend, the channel, the poet, author of the wonderful book Edges of Wonder, Victoria Erickson, who is co-editing The Beauty in the Broken Glass with me. She's going to drop in with you guys live as well if you choose to be here. And she's just going to share some wisdom and talk about feminine leadership and feminine writing. And we're both conscious channels, so when we vibe, it's like a whole experience. So I invite you to check that out. And they've got David Ditchfield. Oh, big ups to David Ditchfield. He's the artist who channeled my exquisite cover to The Beauty in the Broken Glass. You guys, when I walked away from a mainstream publisher, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it as a piece of art. I'm going to do it as a living testament to the near-death community, because I didn't have the type of family that held me in my woundedness. I didn't have the type of family that knew how. They didn't know how to even deal with how emotional and highly sensitive and energetic and passionate and creative I am. And so when I began to speak in the near-death community, I resonated with certain people. And when I decided to walk away from academia and the patriarchal systems that nurtured me to co-create this book with the divine, channel it my way, and take a chance by releasing it my way, organically, slowly, intentionally, I called in these people. These people, to me, beloveds, are earth angels. If you're witnessing this discussion today, which is completely without agenda and came through as a conscious channel, then thank you for receiving me as I am. I, too, receive you exactly as you are. I'm so honored. I'm so honored to just have a few of you. Like, to me, real people, even if there's like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, all the more, even better. But just a few of us gathered, actually exchanging heart to heart, that means so much more to me than the videos I've had on big channels that go viral. You being present and being a witness, that's reciprocity to me, man. That's reciprocity. That's what it's all about. And if I may witness you or serve you in any way, I am absolutely here for it. That's what these offerings are about, to take some of that unconditional love that I have in multitudes and bless you with it, to illuminate you with it, so that you can go out and take that illumination into our awakening world. Remember, darkness fades the minute a bright light steps into it. Be the bright light. With that, I'm going to drop into the chat for a moment. Oh, hello, Serenity. Hi, Shelly. I'm so happy you were able to drop in live with us today. Yay. Hi, James. I'm glad you have big love for Peter. Obviously, I do too. He's the best, absolute best. Thank you, Serenity, for all the love and gratitude and light and blessings. I so appreciate you guys. Oh, Shelly says she loves Peter Panagore too. We all love Peter Panagore. What's not to love with Peter Panagore? He's simply the best. Simply the best. We are so like opposite in how we do things. He's such, the Christian mystic. And I always joke, I'm like, and then you've got me, who people on YouTube have called a witch because I'm so out of the traditional religious paradigm. And like, whatever. I'm sure I've been burnt for that in many, many lifetimes before. I know I've healed that witch wound. But the truth is, that's what makes our fields in co-creation so potent. He brings this like more traditional understanding of mysticism, this theology, and I come in with the raw feminine, the raw energetics. And I absolutely love working with Peter. You can find some of our talks on YouTube, and you can definitely check out what we did with 𝐼𝐴NS last year. We spoke about soul soul family. And that's really, it's kind of a precursor to the book that I have channeled and to the way that I have created it with my near-death family. So I'm so happy you guys love him. And yes, James, you're so, so, so welcome for this little reminder today. So henceforth, big ups to Saturn. We're going to go in with the energy of Sacred Father with Saturn. And please do check out the Jupiter sessions. Today, we talked a little bit about expansion and opening up to the cosmic. And I want you to really take that practice and run with it. If you're called on both videos, please love, please comment, not just in the live chat, guys. I need you on the actual videos because that will just help, because there are a lot of people looking for illumination right now and they don't know where to go. And a lot of people don't have the money and the resources to have individual services. I feel that. I read those emails every single day. I think one of the hardest parts about being a near-death survivor and thriver and public experiencer that most people don't understand or even dare imagine is that we receive anywhere from hundreds to thousands of emails with each and every video. Sometimes it's beyond that. I mean, sometimes it's taken me months to catch up to all of the emails that come in from a potent viral video. And I'm telling you guys, what I read in some of those emails, when you are transparent with people and you tell them your truth, they pour it right back at you. And I receive some emails that break my heart. And I hold so much compassion and so much deep love, and I respond as wholly as I am capable of. But the truth is, I am just one experiencer, one person. It is impossible for me to reach every person with the intensity of what they reach out with. So these offerings are beginning quietly. I'm not announcing them anywhere but on this channel. For those of you that have stayed and been in resonance with all of my work for years when I wasn't on YouTube, other than interviews occasionally. And I did them occasionally. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there are a couple of years there that I just completely dropped off as I didn't like what was happening in the community. I didn't like the way AI was hijacking our stories. I didn't like that there was a lot of false light within the near-death community right now. There's a lot of people hijacking the truth for 15 minutes of fame. I didn't like any of that. So I left. And I focused on my clients, and I focused on my children, and I focused on my own field and my own healing. But the call to action in 2026 is huge. The next coming years are radical in what's going to come through. We're looking at public disclosure, could land any time now as far as our multidimensional and interdimensional roots and communication beyond. For many of you, that's going to begin with telepathy, with inner knowing, with the awareness that there is consciousness beyond your own, beyond what you've been taught, and that it's very real, and that there are benevolent factors of that you can connect with. And I'm speaking this all into existence right now because I already know. I've been working with Portal to Ascension for many years. Some of you have witnessed that. I have spoken on many Palladian conferences for them, and I've been very deep into the work with my star mothers and my own lineage. So I'm very aware of what disclosure means and what is forthcoming. In addition to disclosure, we have the crumbling of the paradigms, which is currently occurring. And you're watching little by little as so much of what we've been sold as truth or as systems of power are dissolving in front of us. That process is going to continue, beloveds. I wish I could tell you it's going to get easier. It's going to continue. But as I've said publicly recently, and I will continue to say, allow it. Remember, destruction is part of creation. All of that is not in resonance to the highest light is not going to survive the frequencies that are here on Earth. And I smile as I say that because the Earth is ascending first, beloveds. Sophia, Gaia, or Gaia, Sophia, however you see the correlation and the connection between wisdom, the mother of wisdom is Sophia, and Gaia, our Earth mother. They are accelerating together in union. This has been happening for a very, very long time, but we're seeing it play out in bigger and bolder ways. The solar flares are accelerating this, the crumbling of the political systems and, things that we gave our power to and our trust to is part of that. These systems are not at a frequency that will align with what's coming. I hesitate when I use any kind of language that could be associated with the New Age, even though I am so much someone that practices things that are associated to it, just like science and just like religion, the New Age I've often called the new cage. It can become dogmatic. It can become another prison of the mind if you give all your power to everything. And yet I will use the language of the new earth because we are birthing something together. The earth is already doing it, beloveds, with or without us. She is accelerating. She is expanding. She is becoming Sophia's Christos light. She is taking in the Christ consciousness that is pouring in from the heavens. The Bible wants you to believe that, Christ is going to come back in the way they described it. I am not going to tell you how it's going to unfold because there are quantum timelines co-occurring. Anyone that says there's a one size fits all to any of this, I would be a little hesitant to listen to them, because remember, quantum timelines, quantum realities, and a collective awakening. Literally, it could happen in a multitude of ways. But Christ consciousness pouring in from our planetary brothers and sisters who want nothing more than the earth to survive and the earth to thrive, that is here in abundance. It gets me lit to talk about how much our star brothers and sisters, our angelics, like our interdimensional beings, and to me, the angelics are definitely interdimensional, beings. They can transcend all time and space. They can be anywhere at any time. Those beings of light, the highest light and resonance, those celestials are with us in abundance right now. So my invitation to you is to try out some of those practices in Jupiter sessions. Get into your light. Because the more you're in your light, the more your antennas going to be expanded, your sensitivity heightened, and you're going to be able to receive all that as a clear and open channel. And that's the invitation of these times, not to become the destructive aspect of creation, but rather to become the aspect of creation that is birthing and midwiving and co-creating through the return of the divine feminine in union. And this is so important. It's not just divine mother, in union with the sacred father rising, in union with the energies of Yeshua or Jesus or Christ and all of the masculine avatars through all time and space. Sacred union is where we're headed, guys. It's the balance of divine father and divine mother. And to really receive and to get there, we have to work on those two archetypes within. And that's what these love offerings are all about. You can think of Jupiter as divine mother. You can think of Saturn as divine father. We all carry these archetypes within. This is beyond astrology. This is beyond any kind of vernacular associated with ascension. These are living archetypes within you. In the past, we read sacred scriptures. It is now in our divine DNA. And remember, there's 12 codes that come from different aspects of our humanity. 12. We all carry one or more that are particularly related to our star heritage. We may not be cognizant of it, but it's there, beloveds. And what's even more beautiful is what science once called our junk DNA. That's the stuff we're accelerating right now. That's the stuff we are amplifying. That's the stuff the earth is doing the work for. She's ascending because as these frequencies rise, so does that part of you. It's inevitable, beloveds. It's inevitable. Whether humanity understands or not, they're all along for the ride. And that's why so many people are so dysregulated and having such a hard time right now, because in addition to the shock and awe of the information that's coming out, their nervous systems are greatly, greatly, greatly feeling this acceleration. They're feeling the solar flares. They're feeling the intensity of all these light codes coming in. Those of you that are conscious of it, you are ahead of the game, beloveds. You are ahead of the game. And part of why I was so raw and so real and didn't hold anything back as I wrote this book and consciously channeled it was because I want people to have something that they can look at and be like, hey, she went through this. She went through this for 15 years and she survived. And not only did she survive, she thrived and she helps others, because it's not about me. It's about you. It's about co-creation. It's about the fact that we all have this capacity. It's a choice. It's an invitation. It's exquisite. and I invite you to accept it. I invite you to understand that this destruction is the soil of creation. Death is creation. Rebirth is creation. And I'm here to rebirth a brand new world with you. So thank you guys so much for being here with me today. It's an exquisite honor to share space. I'm dropping in for a moment. Oh, Robin, I'm so happy you were able to drop in with us again today. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shelly. I have missed you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Embodied integrity. I absolutely love that. Thank you for witnessing me and receiving me exactly as I am. I honor and receive you in all your multitudes, exactly as you are too. Thank you, Dan, for the good stuff. Shout out. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you all for being here. Again, on your way out, if you could just do me a solid and drop by with some love and a like on this actual video, it will help it pick up in my channel, and invite new people that really need this medicine, need these stories, need to awaken or are hungry to awaken with us. If called, please join me Sunday, 9 a.m., Shakti Sundays. It's going to be a Divine Mother's Day edition. I'm excited to hold space with you before I celebrate with my boys. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for bringing your hearts. Thank you for bringing your fields. Thank you for trusting me. I honor that. I honor that. I honor that. I celebrate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please check out Jupiter Sessions transmission, from today. So many words with such big energy. So I'm going to go ground it, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I love you. May you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Oops, it's always hard for me to hit this button for some reason. I have to sit back, you guys, from this. Many of you know this, but I'm going to say it to those that don't me. I have to sit really far back because my After Effects will crash all the technology. So I'm still working on how to turn this off without literally crashing it all and also doing it eloquently. It's not happening yet. Love you guys. Bye.